What if I told you that the end of democracy won't look like a movie? We grow up imagining the end of a free society as something cinematic. We picture tanks rolling down Pennsylvania Avenue, generals seizing the TV stations, or a violent coup d'etat. But what if we are looking for the wrong signs? What if the end of democracy doesn't happen with a bang, but with a whisper? Welcome to The Last Read, where we decode the books that decode our world. Today, we are stripping the paint off the American political system to look at the rotting wood underneath. We are summarizing the modern classic, How Democracies Die, by Stephen Levitsky and Daniel Ziblatt. If you've been lying in bed late at night, doom scrolling through headlines, feeling a low-level hum of anxiety that the ground is shifting under your feet, this episode is for you. And if you want to hold the full manual in your hands, check the link in the description to grab a copy of the book. Here is the terrifying premise. Levitsky and Ziblatt are Harvard professors, but they didn't spend their lives studying U.S. history. They studied how democracies collapsed in Latin America and Europe. They looked at the autopsies of broken nations. And when they turned their gaze back to the United States, they realized that the warning lights were flashing red. They argue that since the end of the Cold War, democracies don't die at the hands of men with guns. They die at the hands of elected leaders. It is not an invasion, it is a suicide. The authors use a brilliant analogy: termites. When a military coup happens, it's like a wrecking ball hitting your house. It's loud, it's obvious, and everyone knows immediately. But modern authoritarianism is a termite infestation. From the street, the house looks exactly the same. The windows are intact, the lawn is mowed, and elections are still held. But inside the walls, the studs and beams are being eaten away.
So how do the termites do it? The authors identify three main phases. First, you have to capture the referees. In a healthy democracy, institutions like the courts, intelligence agencies, and ethics boards are neutral arbiters. But an aspiring autocrat slowly replaces these nonpartisan officials with loyalists. They turn these agencies into a weapon, a shield to protect themselves from corruption charges, and a sword to investigate and harass their opponents. And the scary part? It all looks legal. But capturing the referees isn't enough. You also have to break the soft guardrails of democracy. We tend to think the Constitution protects us, but Levitsky and Ziblatt remind us that the Constitution is just paper, or parchment barriers, as James Madison called them. The real protection comes from unwritten social norms. The authors highlight two critical ones that are currently snapping apart. The first is mutual toleration. This is the political version of the neighbor test. You might hate your neighbor's taste in music or their yard signs, but you don't burn their house down. You accept that they have a right to live there. In politics, this means accepting your rivals as legitimate. You don't call them traitors, criminals, or existential threats. Once you view your opponent as an enemy of the state, you can justify breaking any rule to stop them. The second guardrail is institutional forbearance. This is the idea of self-restraint. It's the school zone rule. Technically, the speed limit might be 25, but if kids are playing in the street, you drive 10. You don't drive 25 just because the law says you can.
We are seeing a collapse of forbearance. We see politicians pushing their powers to the absolute legal brink, whether it's ruling by executive order or blocking court nominations, violating the spirit of the law while technically following the letter. This is what the authors call constitutional hardball. Now, you might be asking, how did we let people like this into the system in the first place? This brings us to the most controversial part of the book, the defense of the smoke-filled room. Historically, political parties acted as gatekeepers. The party bosses were the bouncers at the nightclub of democracy. They filtered out dangerous demagogues before they could get on the ballot. But after the chaos of the 1968 election, the US switched to a binding primary system. We fired the bouncers. While this was more democratic, it removed the filter. Now anyone with enough celebrity, money, or media attention can bypass the establishment and grab the microphone. And if that person wants to incite a riot, there is no one left with the authority to drag them off stage. So where does that leave us? The gatekeepers are gone, the referees are being captured, and the guardrails are down. Levitsky and Ziblatt conclude that there is no white knight coming to save us. The fate of democracy rests on ordinary citizens realizing that democracy isn't a machine you turn on and walk away from. It is a garden. It requires constant tending and weeding. We have to rebuild those norms. We have to reward politicians who practice forbearance and punish those who break the rules, even if they are on our side. Because if we don't fix the foundation, eventually the termites will finish the job. That's our summary of how democracies die. If this sparked something in you, hit that subscribe button for more wisdom from the world's most important books. I'm your host, signing off from The Last Read.